Welcome to the Awards and Financial Aid and Other Important Tips presentation at the University of Windsor. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be speaking about developing your budget, some potential expenses, potential revenue sources. We'll look at some strategies for saving and for spending, and we'll also touch upon the scholarships and bursaries and awards that are here at the university. The Work Study Program, also known as the IGNITE program, the Ontario Student Assistance Program. This is Ontario's government student loan program, also known as OSAP. And we'll find out how we get proof of enrollment letters from the registrar's office for those students who have a registered educational savings plan. We'll learn some important dates from our student accounts office. And finally, we'll touch upon some important tips on how to maintain in school once you actually arrive here. So what is a budget? Well, a budget compares your income to your expenses and keeps your personal spending accountable by showing you where your money is going. The goal is to create a budget which matches your resources with your expenses. So how do you do that? Well, you can use a daily log to track your spending. Consider both your major and minor expenses. Major expenses such as education and accommodation costs, minor expenses such as your personal well-being and entertainment costs. Consider your priorities. Establish some realistic goals and expectations. If your Starbucks expenses exceed your personal well-being budget, it may have to change your priorities. At the end of the week, month, or year, you want to make sure your expenses do not exceed your resources. If they do, you may have to consider borrowing to cover the gap. So you have to ask yourself, how much debt are you comfortable with? So let's take a look at some of the potential expenses you can expect to encounter in order to pay for your education. This is obviously for illustrative purposes only. It uses our 21-22 tuition rates. It provides a comparison of high cost versus low cost programs, books, residence, and other expenses you may incur. And this is over an 8-month period. So we see that the costs can range between $22,000 to $30,000. However, your choices will impact your budget and these expenses. Here are some of the strategies we encourage students to look at for saving. Once you become a university student, you'll be provided with a UWIN student card. Students can use their card to take advantage of discounts. Many businesses provide discounts to students. Some grocery stores, if you're traveling, train, via rail. And also ordering online. Always check or ask if there are discounts for students. For those students covered by a drug and dental plan of their employer or parent's employer, they can opt out of paying for the university's drug and dental plan. International students are also enrolled in this program. The campus bookstore has a buyback program for those who keep their academic textbooks in good shape. For academic assistance, SOS is available, and that stands for Students Offering Support. You can also contact a library. They offer assistance to those needing help. Take advantage of all the supports if you need them. And in addition, almost all departments offer free or affordable tutoring services. Investigate your department first before hiring independently or a different student. Now, when we get to spending your money, try to stick to your budget. Many people cannot resist a bargain, so try your best to avoid impulse buying. Marketers know that emotions drive spending habits. Many people spend in response to loneliness, anxiety, disappointment, or boredom. Don't go shopping. Limit your credit card purchases or leave your credit card at home. Also, you may want to adjust your attitude. Do you really need the latest iPhone, or can you survive with your current phone? Sell or swap items that you no longer need. And again, take advantage of those student discounts. If you stick to your budget over time, you can afford to treat yourself. Developing good saving and spending habits early pays off in the long run. Okay, let's turn our attentions to scholarships, bursaries, and awards. And we're so excited about these. And why? Because these are non-repayable assistance you may receive from the university, a donor, or an external agency. The funding may be provided to you automatically, or you may have to apply for it, but you don't usually have to pay the money back. What's the difference between these? Well, scholarships are usually based upon your grades, and we call this merit-based. And sometimes we use these terms interchangeably, scholarship, bursaries, and awards, but you really should get an idea of what they really are looking for. So scholarships are looking for your grades. Entrance scholarships are offered to you prior to starting at an institution, while in-course scholarships are provided to you while you are at the institution. Bursaries are usually based upon financial need. You have to demonstrate financial need in some way. And awards can be non-financial. These can be based upon financial need or merit or both. If financial, there is usually an amount for an award. It's usually less than that you will receive for a scholarship. Students are automatically considered for entrance scholarship based upon their final grades from high school. Once they arrive at the university, they'll have an opportunity to apply for in-course scholarships and bursaries later on in the year. In-course scholarships and bursaries require the submission of an actual application. The application can be found on the university's website. Both merit and need-based awards are available. We encourage students to pay careful attention to the deadlines for these awards. Let's take a look at some of the criteria for the entrance scholarships. So the student must be entering the fall term as a full-time student directly from secondary school with a minimum 85% average from their top 6 interim and final U or M level courses available in May. So those are for the students who are in Ontario. For our international student, it would be the equivalent, the 85% average, and our international students are eligible for entrance scholarships. For the application-driven entrance scholarships, because we do have some of those, you would simply have to log into UInsight Student Award Profile applicant homepage. And students will have until the end of April to apply for these scholarships. With your letter of admission, generally, an initial scholarship offer is included for those with an 85 or greater average. And as you can see from this grid, 85 to 89.99, the students will receive $1,000. 90 to 94.99, the students will receive $2,500. It is a renewable at that level over 4 years. And over 95%, it's $4,000. To renew, students must have an 85% average. So these scholarships, the renewable scholarships, are guaranteed for the first year of study during the fall and winter semester. Once you have attained the 85% cumulative average, you will then be allocated your scholarship for years 2 and then again 3 and 4. If a student fails to renew, all is not lost because there are various in-course scholarships and bursaries that are available to students. So keep your marks high and never give up because you can always apply for other scholarships. And here are the in-course funding opportunities. So for all students, whether you've been awarded an entrance scholarships or not, you are eligible to apply for an in-course scholarship. An application will be required for these scholarships and bursaries. Therefore, the UN award profile will have to be submitted again in August. So for the entrance scholarships, you would apply prior to the end of April, but for in-course, you will submit this UN award profile in August. The sooner you fill out your application, the better, because awards start to be adjudicated in late September for our law students and in early November for all of our other students. So if you submit your application by October 31st, that'll guarantee your consideration for all awards. Donor-sponsored awards are part of this UN award profile process and provide both merit and need-based scholarships and bursaries. A donor-sponsored award is a donor who has also decided to provide funding to a student, and so those are called donor-sponsored awards. Pay attention to the criteria when applying for scholarships and awards. Some will require a certain grade level. Those are merit-based awards. Some will require that you demonstrate financial need. We refer to this as a need-based award. Some may require a combination of both. Some may require that you demonstrate your involvement with community service or leadership. Be prepared with supporting documentation, with letters from donors or others who are aware of what you have done and can attest to your involvement in these extracurricular activities. So it begs the question, how do I demonstrate financial need? If you apply for government financial aid and you're eligible for at least $1 of funding, you'll meet our criteria of financial need. So it's very important that you apply for government financial aid. Now, in addition to the regular scholarship opportunities that are available at the university, we encourage you to take a look at other sources of funding. These are some of the places you might be able to find funding. Your high school may offer some awards, your parents' employer, clubs, community agencies, other scholarship websites like Scholarships Canada, Iconic, and of course, the University of Windsor will provide you with some scholarships too. Ignite is the University of Windsor's work-study program. This program funds part-time jobs for students. These jobs are usually on campus and are flexible around a student's class schedule. Positions offer an opportunity for both financial benefits and skills development. We encourage students to apply for work study because studies have shown that there's a direct link between employment and persistence. That means students employed in work study programs will usually persist in their education. They're less likely to drop out. Employers know that the main focus is students' education, and therefore these jobs are flexible, taking that into account. Now let's turn our attention to OSAP, or the Ontario Student Assistance Program. What is financial aid, or OSAP? Well, financial aid is money that is provided to you by the government to help you pay for school. The application is generally available in May, and we encourage students to apply by the end of June. With one application, students will be considered for both grants and loans. International students are not eligible for OSAP because you do need to be a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, and residing in Ontario for at least a year. So what are the differences between grants and loans? Well, grants are funds you don't have to repay, and loans are funds that you do have to repay. As previously mentioned, many bursaries and awards have a need-based component, and often need is assessed by whether or not a student has applied for and is eligible for financial aid. We encourage students to apply early for financial aid to ensure that the university staff have time to process their applications prior to the start of school, because the processing can take between 3 to 8 weeks. Financial aid is available for both full-time and part-time students. Now, how do we determine how much financial aid a student is going to be receiving? Well, we're going to take into account the educational costs, such as tuition and fees, books and supplies, personal living expenses, childcare for your parent, and travel costs. We'll then deduct your contribution to arrive at an amount that the government will provide. The government expects students to contribute to their own education and therefore determined a fixed contribution amount for students. In Ontario, this amount is $3,600. They will also take a look at your parents to see what they can contribute, or your spouse. And then the difference is the financial need. Registered educational savings plans are not counted in the assessment for financial aid. For a general estimate of the amount of funding you are eligible to receive, you can simply log on to the OSAP website and go to the OSAP Financial Aid Estimator. Okay, so how do we apply? It's a simple process. Once you are eligible for financial aid, you simply have to go onto the OSAP website at osap.gov.on.ca. Remember, students can apply for either full-time or part-time funding. To be eligible for full-time financial aid funding, a student must be taking a minimum 60% of a full-time course load. Usually this equates to three credit courses per semester. Full-time is determined, however, by your program at the University of Windsor, and it can vary. So you need to check that out. Part-time is considered 20% to 59% of a full-time course load. So what's the difference between the two programs? Well, part-time student loan funding does not include funding for living expenses. It will only recognize costs for your tuition and fees, transportation, and childcare. Students with a documented permanent disability are eligible for part-time funding if taking a minimum 20% course load, maximum 40% course load. They are, however, eligible for full-time funding if taking a minimum 40% course load, and therefore can submit either the full-time or the part-time application if taking a 40% course load. When applying for financial aid, we advise you to carefully follow the instructions. Contact the financial aid office if you have any questions or if any assistance is required. For those students who have a registered educational savings plan, they often require proof of enrollment to process the withdrawal of the RESP funds. At the University of Windsor, we refer to this as an enrollment verification letter. For those students with a RESP, after you're enrolled in classes, you can download the letter via the student portal. Now, to help you build your budget, you may need to know the cost of your program. To get an estimate of this cost, all you have to do is log into the student accounts or cashier's website and look for the fee estimator. In addition, you'll find some important information with respect to the dates where your fees will become due. The first date is August 15th for the fall. That's the deadline date. December 15th for the winter and May 15th for the summer. Don't forget to pay your fees. Interest will be charged if you pay your student account late, but there are various options available to you to pay your student account. Simply visit the cashier's website for details and remember your student ID number. That's your account number when paying with online banking. Now, apart from all the financial aid and scholarships that you can receive, we really want to help you succeed while you're enrolled. So here are some other ways. Academic advising. If you're not sure which courses you should take, make an appointment with an academic advisor. Peer mentoring is available for various faculties. Tutors, if you need help with any of your courses. Exam accommodations can be arranged through the Accessibility Services Office. Take advantage of the STEPS program to help you with your study skills. STEPS stands for Skills to Enhance Personal Success program, and it aids in the preparation for final exams through group sessions that introduce practical methods to help students improve their learning and study skills. Remember, post-secondary education is an investment in your future. Research your program, develop your budget, estimate the costs and resources, and understand the available funding options which are available to you. It's one of the largest investments that you will ever make in your lifetime. So to recap, the deadline to apply for university entrance scholarships is April 30th. You should apply for financial aid in May, follow up to make sure your application is complete, apply for in-course scholarships in August, and be ready to pay your student account balance by August 15th. Create your plan and be successful. We're always here to help you, but if you need to see us, you can contact the Student Awards and Financial Aid Office and our Student Accounts Office via ask.uwindsor.ca. That's an online portal. Or you can drop into CS. On campus, we're located in the Chrysler Hall Tower, room 102. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, we're available to respond to you at any time. Simply contact our office. Thank you and have a great day.